The fashion world was sent reeling on October 20th, 2024, with the news of former Abercrombie and Fitch CEO Mike Jeffries' arrest. Jeffries and his longtime partner, Matthew Smith, were taken into custody at their Manhattan penthouse. They face federal charges related to sex trafficking and exploitation. The arrests are the culmination of a multi-year investigation by the FBI. Jeffries, known for his controversial tenure at Abercrombie and Fitch, has long been a figure of public scrutiny. However, these charges represent a dark turn. The news sent shockwaves through the industry, raising questions about the dark side of glamour and the abuse of power. Many of the victims were lured with promises of lucrative contracts and fashion industry connections. It serves as a stark reminder of the vulnerabilities of young people pursuing their dreams in a cutthroat and often unforgiving world. The indictment, unsealed on October 21, 2024, paints a disturbing picture of manipulation and exploitation. It alleges that Jeffries and Smith used their positions of power and influence to coerce young men and women into sexual acts. The indictment details a pattern of behavior that included lavish parties, expensive gifts, and promises of career advancement. Central to the indictment are accusations that Jeffries and Smith organized and hosted exclusive parties at their residences. These parties were specifically designed to exploit vulnerable individuals. The indictment alleges that drugs and alcohol were freely available at these gatherings. Victims were often pressured or coerced into engaging in sexual activity. Jeffries and Smith preyed on the aspirations of young people, exploiting their vulnerability for their own gratification, stated U.S. Attorney Sarah Thompson. If convicted, they face significant prison sentences. The alleged crimes span nearly a decade, from 2008 to 2015. This period coincides with Jeffries' tenure as CEO of Abercrombie and Fitch, a time when the brand was both wildly popular and intensely scrutinized for its overtly sexualized marketing and discriminatory hiring practices. It began with identifying vulnerable individuals, often aspiring models or actors, who were new to the industry and eager to make a name for themselves. Jeffries and Smith used their connections and influence within the fashion world to gain access to these individuals. The initial interactions were often characterized by charm and generosity, with Jeffries and Smith showering their targets with compliments, expensive gifts, and invitations to exclusive parties. Promises of career advancement, modeling contracts, and access to influential figures within the fashion industry were used as leverage to coerce victims into sexual acts. Section 4. Victims' voices, trauma, and the pursuit of justice. The victims, whose identities remain protected, have shown immense courage in coming forward. Their stories, though difficult to hear, are crucial in exposing the depth of the alleged abuse and the devastating impact it has had on their lives. One victim, identified in court documents as John Doe 1, stated that he was just 18 years old when he first met Jeffries and Smith at a fashion industry afterparty in New York City. Lured by their promises of stardom, he was quickly drawn into their inner circle, where he was subjected to unwanted sexual advances and pressured into engaging in sexual acts. "I felt trapped," John Doe 1 shared in a statement read by his attorney. "They had so much power, and I was terrified of what would happen if I spoke out." The emotional toll on the victims is immeasurable. Many have struggled with depression, anxiety, and PTSD. Section 5. Shadows of the Past. Prior allegations and investigations. The recent arrest of Mike Jeffries and Matthew Smith is not the first time allegations of misconduct have surfaced. In 2012, a BBC Panorama investigation titled "The Dark Side of A&F" exposed disturbing claims of discriminatory hiring practices and a toxic work environment at Abercrombie and Fitch under Jeffries' leadership. The BBC report included interviews with former employees who alleged that the company had a clear preference for hiring white, conventionally attractive individuals. The report also uncovered allegations of sexual harassment and a culture of silence surrounding misconduct within the company. The resurfacing of these past allegations in light of the current charges against Jeffries and Smith raises serious questions about what, if anything, was done to address the concerns raised in 2012. Section 6. Abercrombie and Fitch responds, distance and dismay. In the wake of the arrests, Abercrombie and Fitch has been quick to distance itself from its former CEO. The company issued a statement expressing shock and dismay at the allegations against Jeffries, emphasizing that he has not been associated with the brand since 2014. Abercrombie & Fitch condemns the abhorrent behavior outlined in the charges against Mike Jeffries, the statement read. The company further stated that it is cooperating fully with the FBI investigation and is committed to supporting the victims in any way possible. The scandal has undoubtedly tarnished the Abercrombie & Fitch brand, which has been working hard in recent years to shed its controversial past and rebrand itself as a more inclusive and socially responsible company.